Most people think success is about discipline, motivation, or working harder than everyone else. That sounds nice, but it's not how things actually work at a high level. The uncomfortable truth is this: high performers don't rely on willpower nearly as much as you think. They design their environment so winning becomes the default and losing becomes difficult. And here's where it gets interesting: they rarely talk about it. Because manipulating your environment sounds unethical or even lazy. But in reality, it's one of the smartest and fastest ways to move ahead financially and professionally. Let's break this down clearly. When you wake up every day and depend on motivation, you're already behind. Motivation fluctuates, energy fluctuates, life happens. But your environment? That's something you can control. And successful people obsess over that control. For example, think about money. Most people try to save what's left after spending. That's backwards. High-level thinkers flip the system. They automate investments first, then live on what remains. It's not discipline, it's structure. Once that system is in place, there's no daily decision, no internal battle. The environment handles it. That's the first principle. Remove decisions that don't need to exist. Every unnecessary decision drains your mental energy. And when your energy is low, you default to comfort, not growth. So instead of trying to be stronger, successful people reduce the number of moments where they need to be strong. Another example, your physical environment. Look around where you work. Is it designed for focus or distraction? Most people keep their phones next to them, notifications on, social media one tap away. Then they blame themselves for lack of discipline. That's not a discipline problem, that's a setup problem. High performers remove friction from what matters and add friction to what doesn't. If they want to focus, distractions are physically out of reach. If they want to work out, their gym clothes are ready before they even think about it. If they want to build wealth, their money moves automatically before they can spend it impulsively. They don't trust their future self to do better. They assume their future self will be lazy, and they design around that. That's not weakness, that's intelligence. Now let's talk about something deeper, the social environment. This is where most people lose without even realizing it. If you're surrounded by people who normalize average behavior, spending impulsively, avoiding risk, complaining about money, you will slowly absorb those habits. Not because you're weak, but because humans adapt to their surroundings. Successful people are extremely intentional about who they're around. And here's the part people won't say out loud. They distance themselves from environments that slow them down, quietly, without drama, without announcements. They choose rooms where their current mindset feels small. Because in those rooms, growth is forced. If everyone around you thinks investing is risky, you'll hesitate. If everyone around you is building assets, you'll feel behind if you're not. Same person, different environment, completely different outcome. Now, let's connect this to speed. Why do some people seem to win faster? It's not because they're smarter, it's because their environment compounds results. Imagine two people trying to build wealth. One relies on discipline every month to save and invest manually. The other sets up automatic transfers, follows a structured plan, and surrounds themselves with people doing the same. In 1 year, the difference might be small. In 5 years, it's massive. Because one system depends on effort, the other depends on design. And design scales. Effort burns out. Let's talk about digital environments too, because this is where most people are getting quietly destroyed. Your phone is not neutral. Your feed is not random. If your daily inputs are entertainment, gossip, and low-value content, your thinking will reflect that. You'll feel busy but make no progress. Successful people curate what they consume. They follow people who challenge their thinking. They consume content that improves decision-making. They limit noise exposure. Again, not because they're more disciplined, but because they understand input equals output. If you constantly feed your brain distractions, don't expect focused results. Now, here's a hard truth. You cannot outwork a bad environment. You can try, you can push, you can grind, but if everything around you pulls you in the wrong direction, you will eventually break. That's why people start strong and fall off. Not because they lack ambition, but because their environment never supported the change. So, what do high performers do differently? They make winning easier than losing. They don't rely on feeling like it. They build systems that run whether they feel like it or not. They remove temptations instead of resisting them. They surround themselves with standards, not excuses. They automate what can be automated. And they protect their attention like it's an asset because it is. Now, let's bring this back to finance specifically. If you want to grow financially, your environment should reflect that goal. Your bank accounts should be structured for saving and investing, not just spending. Your social circle should include people who understand money, not just people who talk about it. Your daily inputs should include financial education, not just entertainment. Your habits should reduce unnecessary spending frictionlessly. And most importantly, your system should not depend on constant effort. Because here's the reality: discipline fades, systems don't. And the faster you understand that, the faster you move. Now there's one more layer people don't like to admit. Successful people manipulate their environment before they need results. Most people wait until they're broke, tired, or stuck before they make changes. High performers act early. They set up structures when things are calm, so when life gets chaotic, they're still moving forward. That's how they stay consistent without looking like they're trying. And from the outside, it looks like luck. But it's not luck. Its preparation is hidden inside environment design. So if you feel stuck right now, don't ask yourself, how can I be more disciplined? That's the wrong question. Ask yourself, what in my environment is making this harder than it needs to be? Because once you fix that, everything changes. You stop fighting yourself. You stop relying on motivation. You stop starting over every week. And you start building momentum that actually lasts. That's how people win fast, not by doing more, but by designing better. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because the truth is, success isn't random. It's engineered. Like and follow me for more interesting content to make you build your life every single week.